Hey guys, Sustained 16th Music here, and today we're going to be taking a look at ZynAddSubFX. And ZynAddSubFX is a hybrid synthesizer with subtractive, additive, and pad synthesis, and it is really cool. It is a free synth, and it's the best sounding free synth that I have ever worked with. So I'm going to show you that and show you the pros and cons of the synth, but it's free, so I recommend that you get it, and it is open source, so you can get it, and it's available for Windows, Linux, and Mac. So here it is. First I'll just tell you right off the bat that ZynAddSubFX, it sounds amazing, but its interface is terrible. Look at this. It's not intuitive, it's not easy to get around or anything like that. So it leaves a lot to be desired, and also it doesn't have a VST version. So I'll show you a way to get around that later, but it doesn't have an official VST version. People have made VST versions of it, but I couldn't get it to work with traction. So those are the cons of this, and the pros are, obviously, it's free and it sounds amazing. It's the best sounding free synth ever. But you can get this exact same synth engine with an upgraded interface and available for a VST plugin for $45. So you can either take this as the free one or get the upgraded interface one for $45. And that one is basically just an update for it that costs money. So, and the update is called Zine Fusion. So you can look into that, see if you like the Zine Fusion interface, and if you learn this interface, you can get by with it pretty easily, and you can also get away with it not being a VST plugin, and I'll show you how. So I have a Traction project open, and to get it to output to Zine Fusion, first what you need to do is get a virtual MIDI cable, and I have Springbeats vMIDI, and I have it going to output too. So if you select the track, open up the settings, track destination, you want to change it to Springbeats or your virtual MIDI cable, and then once you've done that, you need to go into ZynAddSubFX, settings, change the MIDI in device to the same device, there we go, and then restart ZynAddSubFX. Then once you've restarted it, you can go over here, and this part you don't have to do, but I'm doing it because my keyboard outputs to channel 2, not channel 1. So now we have it synced up with Traction, so if we record in a clip to Traction, it'll output to ZynAddSubFX. So that's what that is, and I'm just going to give you a quick tutorial of ZynAddSubFX interface and how to make sounds on it. So this is your effects thing, so I'm just going to set it to no effect. This is your effects bay, and over here you can select your effects bus things, but here you select which channel or instrument it is, so you can have multiple instruments being played with just one thing as long as they're being sent to the right channel. So you could have one Traction thing sending it to channel 2, one sending it to channel 1, and stuff like that. And here you have your volume, your pan, all that stuff. And here, this is the instrument edit, and here you can do add effects and stuff like that. But here you can enable which synth. So you can have all of them enabled, or you can have none of them enabled. So I'm just going to go in order and start with the additive synth. And for the additive synth, I use it more as a subtractive synth, but it is technically an additive synth. So here you have all the different voices, and you can turn them on and off. And here you have your parameters for the voice, so you can affect individual voice parameters without affecting the whole instrument. So here's your amplitude envelope, your filter, stuff like that. And over here you get the wave. So how I basically use this engine is I just choose what wave I want and then filter the stuff out and filter out the harmonics. But they call it a additive synth because you can add harmonics this way, which But like I said, I just use the additive synth as a subtractive synth because it has more voices than the actual subtractive synth. So here you have your filter, and I really love how this filter sounds. And the envelope, it's not really a standard ADSR, so it takes a while to get used to. So you set the attack value, and that isn't actually the... Here, I'll show you with an amplitude envelope. Well, so it isn't actually... Oh. Well, this is a standard ADSR. So, yeah, ADSR. So, that one is the standard, so I'll just show you with this one. This one, it isn't the... So you can hear that it's not going... Wah. Like that, it's... Ow. Even though, with a normal one, that would be what it did. So, this just says what it attacks at, and then over here it's how long it takes, the amount of time it takes to get to it. So this is a really this is a short one, and then that's a long one. So I like it like that. And then the decay value is where it decays to. So I'm going to have it decay just below 0. So right there is 0. And then the decay time. So you can hear that this is actually changing how long it takes to get to the decay, and not that. So, and then after the decay, it automatically goes immediately back to 0. So this is below 0. So it doesn't matter what you set; it'll always go back to 0. So then we want this to take a longer time. So. we need this to be shorter. And then this to be shorter. So you can hear that that's working, and then the release is just the release. So that can get very confusing, or you could just, so there's a visualization of what it is, or you could just turn it to free mode, and then you can just do what you want and add different things. But you have to remember that the sustain will always be back here. Actually, you can change the sustain point. So you could have it just immediately sustain there. So that's the modulation section, and that is with frequency 2. So that's basically your add synth. Now you have your subtractive synth, which to me seems more like an additive synth because there are no waves to choose from. So to me they got the names backwards, but I don't really care. It's the same difference. And here you have your ADSR, your filter, basically same stuff. And here you have a pad synth, which here's all your modulation things. And then over here you can change the bandwidth, the harmonic frequency distribution, and the voice. So for the voice you just change over here and it's the same thing as the other. So those are basically the synth engines. They're a bit odd, but they sound really good, and the interface that costs fixes the mix-ups. And here you can do kits. So basically kits, what they do is it lets you basically program drum things in. So that's basically ZynAddSubFX. If you guys want to see a more in-depth tutorial on this, just tell me. So I showed you where all the stuff was on this, but I didn't really tell you about synthesis. So if you want to learn about synthesis, then check out my tutorial on Xhip. And if you want to go even more in depth than that, then leave a comment and I'll try and do that. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.